piano starting to sing a little bit.
I don't feel what harmony. That's right. That's right. Now,
everything had to be singing. And I think that's the most important thing, to try to make a percussion instrument to be a lyrical instrument.
When he came to me, he was 17 years old, and he was taught by his mother until then. My class was full, but after I heard him, I accepted him immediately. There is no pianistic difficulty for him, and wasn't even when he came. But what attracted me very much to him was his unique sensitivity in music, and he loves music.
With classical music particularly, there's a great tradition. Every person that comes into the realm of classic art has always to look at history.
I wrote him and advised him to go to Moscow. His first letter was no, but I didn't stop there, and I wrote him 4 points. I said, you will work with great intensity, you will learn a great deal of new material, you will meet the cream of the pianists of the world, and last and not least, I believe that you will win. I took the receiver, they said, Russia is calling, and there was Van calling me, said, I'm all dressed up to go to play, but I want to speak with you. I saw him on the television that same evening in my alma mater, where my husband and I, we graduated, we played, and it was very exciting.
The first time when an American won a Russian prize was Van Cliburn. Everybody loved his playing. Why? Because he embodied the nature of the Russian playing as inculcated in him by Rosina Lhevinne.
City adds its own bravo to the worldwide crescendo of applause for Van Cliburn, the young American who won Moscow's International Tchaikovsky Piano Competition. The 23-year-old Texan, who conquered Russia musically, receives the ticker tape parade up Broadway, a hero's procession rarely if ever accorded any musician.
A great teacher is a guide and must work to help that young person, that shining new page, that wonderful new mind, that wonderful new experience, to be as independent and self-confident as possible. That's a great teacher.
It is just your own personality and own individuality that counts. I try as much as possible to develop the students with the idea that they must be interesting personalities themselves, and that will show in their music.
I've forgotten what I took into her, whether it was chromatic fantasy or something, and I did it very differently from what somebody else might have done, or what she had. She said afterwards, you know, dear, very different from what I hear in my head, but it's all right. It is convincing. I leave it alone. And she said, why? I said, why do you say that to me? Why don't you show me what you would do? And she said, no. She said, if you convince me, if you persuade me your way is right, I accept it and I leave it alone. It's only when I think you don't know what you want that I move in.
It's a very beautiful balance between inputting into the student what you are and what the student can absorb, and in a sense responding to what the student is and allowing that, drawing that out, or allowing that to bloom as a priority, I mean, high priority.
And one day she asked me about the orchestra, and I said to her, the orchestra is what I really love. She said, really? And I explained to her that I'd made some orchestrations, and she said, you know how to orchestrate? And where did you learn that? And I said, well, I don't really know. I mean, even when I was a youngster in school, had always, way back in my memory, been able to understand that. And she said, that's amazing. Tell from the way I was talking, there was a great interest there. Yes. But the point is that I remember was she was encouraging. She didn't say, don't study the piano. She didn't say, don't spend your time on that. Don't stop anything, just do more.
I wasn't cut out somehow for the Liszt Sonata and the Tchaikovsky Concerto and these pieces that required a kind of full-time involvement in the instrument and traveling around on strange pianos alone and all that stuff. I really wanted to use the instrument in collaboration with singers and with chamber musicians mostly, and she respected that, and she knew that from me very early on and was willing to give it her all anyway. She understood where my innate strengths and weaknesses were and had a strong instinct for pushing me to improve what I really could and somehow understanding what was innate to my growth. And that's, I don't know how you can account for that in any